Hello, my name is Tony. I'm 42 years old. This story started more than a decade ago, but we're continuing it because the main person involved came back with so much audacity that I feel the need to share this incident with all of you. I know that my sister-in-law loves to watch these, so if you're listening to this, I hope you're even more ashamed and embarrassed. Okay, let's start from the very beginning. Sasha, my sister-in-law, and I had been best friends before I had even met her brother. We became friends when we were in middle school. We've been inseparable since the day we met. I hadn't met my husband until I was in college. I had never had the opportunity to meet him because he was always out of his house whenever I was over, and when he moved away for college, there was no way for me to meet him. I actually met him by chance. I had seen his face in all the family pictures at Sasha's house, so I knew who he was when I met him for the first time. We met at a bar. He obviously didn't know who I was because he was the one that approached me. I was shocked when he did, but I let it play out. I eventually told him at the end of the evening that I was his sister's best friend. He was shocked, but also said that he thought I was too pretty to let go like that. So he continued to pursue me, and eventually after Sasha said it was okay, we started dating. We got married 2 years later and moved in next to Sasha and her husband, Brett. After a year of marriage, Sasha and Brett got pregnant and had my niece, Via. I loved Via to bits. She was the cutest kid with the loveliest smile and laugh. The only issue was that Via suffered from some birth defects that left her a little blind. So for the first 5 years of her life, she struggled to adapt to her surroundings. It was not because she was stupid or because she couldn't grasp things properly. Rather, it was because her parents refused to accept the fact that their daughter was handicapped. They would purposefully put her in situations where she had no experience and that were potentially deadly because they wanted her to live a normal life. Now, don't get me wrong, I fully believe in making our societies more accessible for those that are handicapped so that they can live better and normal lives, but when I say that my sister-in-law Sasha wanted Via to live a normal life, I don't mean that she wanted to make things accessible for Via. One incident that comes to mind is how this one time we had all gone to a park. People usually came to the park to do a variety of things, from picnics to play dates and even just exercise. Sasha, Via and I had gone to the park that day to spend some time together. One other thing to mention is that there is this one specific part of the path in the park that was meant for only cycles. While Sasha was too absorbed in talking about something, I happened to look for Via and noticed that she wasn't anywhere near us. I panicked and asked Sasha if she had seen Via. "Sasha, have you seen Via? I'm really worried."
Don't worry about it."
"How can you be so calm? Via could be in serious danger."
"Calm down, Tony.
"Calm down? How could I possibly be calm? Your daughter is visually impaired. What if she fell somewhere and seriously injured herself?"
You have no right to tell me how to parent my kid. Via is perfectly fine."
"I never said that you don't know how to parent your child. All I'm saying is that I'm literally the only one who actually cared for your daughter. You need to be more responsible."
"I know what's best for her, and I don't need you to interfere or tell me what I'm doing is wrong."
"Why are you trying to fight me right now? She could be hurt right now. You need to take this seriously."
"I am her mother, not you. Back off and let me handle it my way."
At that point, I was too panicked and angry to continue talking to Sasha. I started tracing back our steps to find Via. Sasha kept angrily calling me back and yelling me that we weren't done talking. I ignored her. My heart was racing way too fast to really care about Sasha. I ended up finding Via. She was crying as she tried to grasp something to help her navigate around. She kept calling out to her mum and me. I felt so much relief when I saw her. I called out to her. Her face immediately lit up and she giggled as she made her way over to me. I waited in my spot as I watched her cutely waddle over to me. Unfortunately, she was walking really close to the cycle track. I don't know how I missed it, but suddenly there was a large number of cyclists riding the track at very high speeds. My stomach dropped and I quickly got up to catch her. But before I could even take my next step, Via slipped and fell straight onto the cyclist's path. They raced towards her as they all tried to slowly brake or swerve around her. I managed to reach her just before one of the cyclists either crashed into her or another cyclist. I held Via tightly against me. Via sensed my panic and started crying. I calmed her and myself down. Sasha had witnessed the whole thing. She came over to me and grabbed Via out of my hands.
You shouldn't have interfered with Via. She needs to learn to understand her environment on her own.
I was worried for her safety. Did you even tell her about all the dangers she could run into here?
She's old enough to walk around on her own. She doesn't need constant supervision.
But she's only 4 years old and she's visually impaired. She could have been seriously hurt.
Oh, come on, it's not that bad. She would have only gotten a few scratches or bruises.
That's not the point. She needs proper care and guidance.
You're being overprotective. Via can handle herself. Your ignorance is dangerous. One day it will hurt her. You need to take her safety seriously. Just mind your own business, Tony. She's my daughter, not yours. Fine, but remember, you're responsible for her well-being and she deserves better care.
She grabbed Via and walked away from me. I felt so baffled and angry. How could someone treat their own child this way? I wanted to protect Via and I wanted Sasha to actually step up and be a good parent. I couldn't even expect the same from her husband, Brett, because he was so absent from their lives. He would spend his entire day working, but thankfully the universe heard my plea. It was heartbreaking the way it happened, but I was kind of glad that it did. You see, after that incident, Sasha stopped talking to me much. I rarely got to see Via. Every time I tried to, Sasha would make up some excuse and shut the door in my face. But after a year, one day, Sasha and Brett show up at my house with Via. I was surprised to see them. I saw the bags they held in their hands and asked them if they were going on a trip. Hi guys, are you going on a trip?
Yes. It's supposed to be a couple's trip. We were wondering if you and Noah could take care of Via while we're away.
Of course we'll take care of her, but how long will you be gone?
Forever. We've had enough of Via.
What?
She doesn't fit our idea of what our child should look like. We can't handle it anymore.
That's cruel and heartless. How can you do this? You can't just abandon your own child.
We've made up our minds. Here, we've signed off our parental rights, and these are her adoption papers. Take her. She's way too much of a burden.
I won't let you treat her like this. She's not a burden.
Oh, stop being so dramatic. Just take her if you care so much.
I will take Via, but you should be ashamed of yourselves. You're her parents. Act like it. Before I could get another word in, Sasha and Brett walked away. They got in their car and drove away. I stared at them in shock until Via tugged on my arm and asked me how long her parents would be gone. Tears streamed down my face as I told her it would be years until she saw them. Via started crying loudly. She cried out for her parents. I hugged her really tightly. I let her cry into my arms as long as she wanted. When I finally managed to bring her into the house, she asked me if I would also send her away. My heart sank and I wanted to cry, but I stayed strong. Via, you're going to stay with me and Uncle Noah from now on. Does that mean my mum will come back? I don't know, sweetheart. I can't say for sure. Okay, but you and Uncle Noah are more fun than my parents anyway. Oh, thank you, sweetie. We'll take good care of you and we'll always be here for you. Can we have more game nights and movie nights? Absolutely. We'll all have fun together. Yay! I love you, Aunt Tony. I love you too, Via. Always remember that. That evening I told Noah about how everything had played out. Noah was furious with his sister and brother-in-law. He tried calling them, but his call was always redirected to voicemail. As the days passed, we slowly resigned to our fate. We were both overjoyed to take care of Via. Even though she was heavily neglected, she was still very well behaved. It really was a joy to watch her grow up. Eventually, days turned into months and months into years. Via had grown into a beautiful woman. We had all gotten along so well that we even forgot about Sasha and Brett. Via stopped calling us Aunt Tony and Uncle Noah 6 months into living with us. We were her parents in every aspect, and we loved her as much as we could. She was still mostly blind, but she had gotten a lot better at figuring her way around. When she was 12 years old, her doctor told us that there was a new development in medicine that would enable them to restore Via's vision. We were shocked. We asked him if it was going to be completely restored, and he told us, while we may not get full 100% vision restored, we'll still get at least 85% done. We were overjoyed. That night we sat down with Via as a family. We asked her what she wanted to do about the news she had heard from her doctor that day. Via, sweetie, how do you feel about the news? I'm scared, Mum. I don't want to lose what little sight I have. It's okay. We know that it's scary, but we'll make sure to find the best doctors to help you. Really, Dad? Do you promise it won't make me fully blind? We promise. We'll only choose the best places with the highest success rates. You'll be safe. Okay. I want to do it, but I'm scared. It's natural to feel scared, but we'll be with you every step of the way. I know. I want to see what my real parents look like. I have to say, the fact that the first people Via wanted to see after her surgery were me and Noah made us both tear up. We really were blessed with an absolute angel in our lives. The surgery was scheduled for the next month, so we spent the rest of the days leading to the surgery together. We had fun game nights and movie nights, anything that could distract us from the nervousness about the huge surgery. We took part in it. Finally, the day of the surgery arrived, and it went successfully. It took Via 6 months to fully heal, but Noah and I stood by her every second of the way. It was a time when we got even closer as a family. The next few years passed by blissfully. Via had regained a good portion of her sight. It was adorable to watch her look at so many things with so much fascination. And the best moment had been when she finally got to see Noah and my faces clearly. She began crying and telling us that she loved us. We couldn't help but hug her close and tell her the same back. Since then, she would take a good look at us every day and compliment us. She would say that it was her making up for years of only getting compliments and never being able to give any back. However, one day, our happy little bubble popped. Noah and I had taken the day off. Since Via had her summer vacation going on, she was hanging out with her friends. While Noah and I were busy preparing lunch, we heard a loud banging on the door. The banging was incessant and my heart started pounding. Noah squared up and cautiously approached the door. He opened it just a little bit, and I saw his eyes widen. He quickly shut the door and turned to me with his face pale as a ghost. I asked him what was wrong, and he told me that Sasha was outside. Before I could even fully process what was going on, my body had switched to autopilot. I threw open the door. One look at her face and I was ready to punch her. They looked at me apologetically and asked me if she could come in. Tony, can I come in? You are never invited back into our lives. What do you want? Please, I'm sorry for running when things got hard and dropping my burdens at your feet. I was young and stupid. I didn't know what to do, so I ran. You still haven't changed. Really? The nerve you have to come here and call the child you abandoned us a burden still? I just wanted to meet my daughter. No drama, I promise. Via is no longer your daughter. You signed over your parental rights to me and Noah. She's still my daughter, no matter what you say. No, she's not. You made that choice. Leave now. We don't need you here. Sasha's face paled and she stuttered as she tried to come up with excuses. I didn't want to listen to anything, so I moved to close the door, but Sasha stopped me. She then broke down and then told us why she had come over. I came to see Via because I need to talk to her about something serious. What could be so serious that you decided to show up after 12 years? Brett is really sick and he needs stem cells. We want to try every possible DNA match, including Via. I understand, but this is a lot for Via to take in. I'll talk to her and let you know her decision in 3 days. Thank you. And I'm sorry for everything I did in the past. Apologies won't change what happened, but I'll make sure Via knows about your request. I was upset and enraged that Sasha had reached out only because she needed something big and not because she even cared about Via. I wanted to turn down Sasha on Via's behalf, but I knew that was wrong. So I patiently waited until Via got back home. When she did, Noah and I sat her down. What's wrong, guys? You look worried. Well, your biological mother, Sasha, visited us today. Why would she come here? What did she want? She wanted to talk to you about something serious. Your biological father, Brett, is sick and needs a stem cell donor. Sasha came to see if you could be a match. Is Brett okay? Should I do it? We don't know his condition for sure, sweetie. It's your decision, and we'll support you no matter what you choose. How long do I have to decide? You have 3 days to think about it. Okay, I'll take some time to think it over. Via then bid us good night and locked herself up in her room. Noah and I were very worried. We ate our dinner in silence and left some dinner at Via's door in case she wanted to eat. That night, as we settled into bed, Noah and I talked about our fears involving the whole situation. I'm really worried about Via. She seems so troubled after hearing about Brett's condition. I know, it's a lot for her to process. I just hope she makes the right decision for herself. Me too, I can't bear to see her go through more pain. We have to be there for her no matter what she decides. She needs our support. You're right. We'll stand by her, just like we always have. We'll give her some space to think, and when she's ready, she'll let us know her decision. The next 3 days passed by painfully slowly. Via continued to remain locked up in her room. The only sign that she was alive was the food we left outside her room being eaten. It hurt us to see her struggling so much, but we also knew she needed her own space and time to think about things. It was a big decision after all. Finally, on the night of the 3rd day, she came down and sat with us for dinner. Via, sweetheart, how are you feeling now? I'm okay. I just needed time to think, and I'm sorry for worrying you. You don't have to apologize. We understand this is a big decision for you. That's right, honey. We support whatever you choose. I made up my mind. I won't be donating anything to Brett. Are you sure about this? Yes, Dad. I have my reasons, and I want to say them with Sasha here. Okay? We'll be here with you when you talk to her. You don't have to do it alone. Thanks. I have to admit that I was happy with what Via chose. I didn't really care about her reason for not wanting to donate. I just wanted my baby safe and sound. And I also didn't want Sasha or Brett to take any advantage of her. I texted Sasha and told her to come meet us the next afternoon for lunch. The next afternoon, the 4 of us gathered at the dining table for lunch. Sasha looked like an anxious mess, and her head was down for the most part. She never looked directly at Via, which made all 3 of us annoyed. There was an awkward silence initially, but Via decided to break it. Why won't you look at me, Sasha? How do you know I'm not looking at you? Mum and Dad helped fix my vision. I can see you now. They did? Why? Because we love her and want her to have the best life possible. You don't have to throw it in my face. Do you want to know my decision or not? Yes, I do. What did you decide? I've decided not to donate anything to Brett. Why should I help you after you guys left me? It's your duty as our daughter! No! I'm only Mum and Dad's daughter now. They actually care about me, unlike you. I felt insanely proud of my girl. I loved how she put Sasha in her place and how aware she was of herself. At that moment, I felt a huge surge of pride in the way my daughter had grown. But now, instead of being upset or angry at Via, Sasha turned to me. It's all your fault that Via is making this decision! You poisoned her mind against me! That's not true at all! We never told her anything negative about you. We only supported her and let her make her own choices. Via is old enough to decide for herself, and we'll stand by her no matter what. You're spoiling her! I'll call CPS and get her taken away from you! Stop it! You never cared about me for 12 years! And now you only come back because you need something! You didn't even ask me how I was doing! I'm grateful that I got my sight back because I got to see my biological mother for the first and last time. With that, Via got up from the table and walked into her room. Sasha looked gobsmacked. Noah and I calmly asked her to leave our house. Sasha tried to fight, but we didn't entertain her. Noah squared up to her and scared her away. We gave Via some time to cool down and collect herself after Sasha left. We then cautiously knocked on her door. When she let us in, we had a quick talk with her. Before we could even ask her how she was doing, she smiled big at us and told us not to worry. We knew she didn't want to really talk about it at the moment. So Noah suggested movie nights. and we enthusiastically made our way into the living room to spend the rest of the day binge-watching crappy movies. It's been a year since everything that happened. Via has healed and grown a lot more. We haven't still brought up the incident with Via, but we know that she's okay, and that's all that matters. If there's only one thing I've been saying, if that there's nothing better than loving and raising your child in the right way. And no matter what the consequences, always stand up for yourself.